Sandwich.
Josh McMahon writes in first. Steak and cheese cooked with a little teriyaki and a little bit of bacon bits. For this comparison, we have to go Philly because of the steak and cheese. It's a staple in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're going to have to go with an eagle. We're going to have to go somewhere hearty, some big guy. And since Josh threw in a little teriyaki and a little bit of bacon bits, that's a little spice. That's a little spice at the end of the sentence. So, how about Lane Johnson, offensive lineman
Okay.
for the Philadelphia Eagles? He's a true Philly guy. Obviously, he's a hardy man, offensive lineman, and he likes to make comments in the media, Tom. He likes to say he was probably most famous for calling out the Patriots and Bill Belichick for being, quote-unquote, no fun. That went viral. So he's a little spicy. He brings a little attitude and flavor to the normally hearty, heavy Philly steak and cheese.
I think Chris Long's a better person for this.
Chris Long, that's a good one.
He was right during the Super Bowl run. He was always putting on the underdog mask immediately after they got a win. He liked being just a big personality. He's always in the front of the media. He screams Philly at me.
Sandwich.
Second, let's go to Emma Stalder. She goes with a crisp grilled cheese on multigrain. It's a little bit more of a secondary option I think of. So naturally I move to a slot receiver, not necessarily WR1, but nonetheless plays a role. It's not going to play in the top of the menu or on top of the stat sheet. So my answer here is going to be Julian Edelman. And another reason for this, Emma is going multi-grain, tries really hard to stay healthy, even to the point of taking PEDs, allegedly.
Sandwich.
Let's go to Rich Miller. Let's go to Richie Miller III, who threw in a buffalo chicken wrap made by Hingham High's deli queen, Mary. So I love it because it's very family focused. He's obviously getting ties to the 781 right in there with this pick. It's a little reserved with the wrap not being a sandwich but a buffalo chicken wrap. The flavor emerges more and more subtly as the career of the sandwich progresses. So naturally, my comparison, especially the spice coming in after this player retires, Peyton Manning. So Peyton is very family focused. Obviously, you hear a lot about his brothers. He's a little reserved, obviously not being the face, quote unquote, face of the NFL, but emerging more and more over time, just like that flavor of the buffalo chicken. Peyton, now he's on Peyton's Places, ESPN Plus. He's got this personality. He's going to be playing golf with Tiger. So especially after he retires, Peyton Manning has gained a lot more flavor, just like that aftertaste in that buffalo chicken wrap.
Hopefully this does not hurt your heartstrings at all, this pick of mine. I'm going to have to go with the Rob Gronkowski.
Ooh, okay, explain.
Okay, a little bit of buffalo chicken wrap, a little bit of an odd form of a sandwich. Definitely different than the other options. Gronk's like no other person in the league. He's 6'7", huge tight end from Buffalo also, so having the buffalo chicken included there is kind of a little homage to home. One of the best when he's out there. Took a couple of years to really get his name out in the league, but when he did, he was working with great options. Especially, I would say the options here are the spices and having a wrap instead of a sandwich bread.
Yep, that's good. That's very good. It's a good comparison. Meatball sub on an Italian or white bread with provolone cheese. Okay, go ahead.
I have the position of the player is big on this one too. I have Joey Bosa. Now, hear me out. Joey Bosa was the top defensive end in his class, I believe, and he's still an excellent football player. Defensive ends in the league right now are extremely valuable, but they're always going to be looked over by a quarterback or anything in a draft. So any Italian restaurant has to have good meatballs and sauce. It's that simple. If you don't have it, it's not going to be a great Italian restaurant.
I agree 100%.
Same thing with football teams. If you don't have a good defensive end, you're not going to be a great team.
We got 2 more buffalo chicken recipes, and I wanted to pit these 2 together because they're a little similar. So first, Tim Keenan, and also shout out Kevin Keenan, his younger brother. Also, Sean Mahoney. So Tim's and Sean's sandwich are going to go head to head here. So Tim's submission, buffalo chicken sandwich from Grumpy's in Quincy, Massachusetts. Shout out. And then Sean's was from Mama Goo's buffalo chicken in Cambridge, Mass. So Boston, it's a winner go home city. Two sandwiches enter the ring, but only one sandwich can come out victorious. The 2 players I came up here, again, this being a natural duel, and again, the buffalo chicken being the spicy skill players, make the camera a lot, that spice factor, Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree.
Sandwich.
Madeline Sperina, shout out, Orientation 2019, huge fan of the show. She throws in her submission as crunchy peanut butter and grape jelly on toasted bread. So when you're going peanut butter and jelly, you're playing defense against the meat. So I got to throw in a defender because when you think sandwich, you think meat. Especially Fridays during Lent. We just had Easter. We're just coming off Lent. What do you do on Fridays? You turn to peanut butter. Peanut butter, it's kind of like the grilled cheese. It's not there to make Sports Center, make highlights. It's just a quick meal, usually in and out, not too hearty. So for this, I'm going to go with, again, a defender, Patrick Willis. Remember Patrick Willis, folks? Defense, short career. He only lasted 7 years. Short career, just like the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches usually have on the table.
I'm going to the other side of the ball for this one. I'm going to go with Joe Montana.
Wow.
So,
please explain
peanut butter
that.
and jelly is an all-time classic, a little bit old school sandwich. He'll always get the job done. Won a ton of Super Bowls, but he's not as flashy as some of the meat. Like, people now are not going back and watching Joe Montana highlights. Toasted bread plays a big role in my choice there.
Why?
It adds a little more spice to the pick. Having it being toasted ups the game a lot.
Sandwich.
All right, we've come to our last one from our buddy Ray. Also another Hingham submission. He commented, classic Reuben to the face. So I am a huge fan of this. Criminally underrated as a sandwich. David Ayers, the Canadian emergency goalie for the Carolina Hurricanes, he appeared on one of my favorite podcasts, the DA Show, afterwards. And my man DA asked him, was there any pregame ritual? What are you doing before the game, before you get called in? And that night, he actually wolfed down a Reuben up in the 300 level. I'm a huge fan of a Reuben. That just made me realize the power of the Reuben, how much it can influence a game, influence an offense. So, how about Ryan Tannehill? This guy can lead a team. This sandwich can lead a team.
I'm going to go with Luke Kuechly. Led the
Okay.
team as a middle linebacker to the 15-1 season. So they had that huge accomplishment, bit forgotten, but he was one of the best linebackers in the league. Should be a Hall of Famer. It's just a great
Yeah.
sandwich, pretty reliable, but like never won a Super Bowl. So